this is, well, let me zoom back. This is an IREM Kung Fu Master. Yes, again, an Kung Fu Master board. This is probably the type of board that has had more coverage on my channel than any other board. But anyway, and if you watch one of the previous repair videos, you can remember that this is a 3-stack board, and there's a lot of custom chips, a lot of custom ICs on this, and there's a few more on this board here. And well, this is my own doing. So one of the ICs that I repaired, one of the ICs that I replaced, and the other one was this guy, the KNA6034201. That's a mouthful. And Caius had done a really cool and tidy repro for this that worked perfectly. And you know what? I had this board, and this board had a subboard. Actually, let me fetch this. Right, this board had a subboard that sit here, and it worked well. It's sort of an official board, and I'm not sure if it was a quick fix to replace the KNA that had a tendency to fail quite a bit, or if it was straight out of the factory, they ran out of stock and they made this. But essentially, this board was just an array of your pins here, and it was an array of LS166, and it was a placement here for 367 that wasn't used. So I started mapping all this. I went back from scratch. I didn't want to copy Caius stuff because he spent a lot of time and effort, and his layout is slightly different. Although on the top I think it's similar because that's the only way I can fit all these. But he has his caps. His is a bit more tidy. It's probably a bit smaller. So this is essentially just 6 LX166 put together. It's like a giant shift register thing, and this is what I've been making. So what I've received is essentially this little PCB. Again, did it with Easy EDA and ordered with JLC PCB. They don't sponsor the channel, although I might get in touch with them because I've been mentioning them quite a bit. But they don't. It's not a promotion for them. It's just what I've used. And they look quite slick, I have to say. The quality, I'm very impressed with the quality they provided. Anyway, and they do all sort of testing for you and that kind of stuff. So it needs pins, headers here. I'm using the square ones, which are fine for these, but if you use the machine socketed, you need sort of these round ones. But I think these double throw are probably better. Do just as fine, and it just goes right in there, and we're gonna power our game. There you go. So if I take it out, you'll see it just provides provides an entire tile maps thing. I have voltage issues here, if you excuse me. There you go. So without it, it looks terrible. So obviously you need. There you go. So you bring your graphics back. But this is what this IC does. So it's a 2-layer stuff. The blue is the lower layer, and let me remove the silk layers there. And so there you go. It's the top layer and bottom layer. And this is the 3D view. It's such a handy little program. I've never done anything like that before, never used it, but it's really handy. Anyway, let me go back to the PCB. So this took a couple of revisions. Actually, the first one wasn't quite correct, and because it's such fine soldering, it gets hard to troubleshoot and diagnose. But having that subboard was very handy. I also have a bootleg board. Let me just dig out. And the bootleg board is once again handy because, well, if you look here, this 6166 are essentially the 166 that you find on the subboard. So this is the reproduction of the custom. In fact, if we look around, this guy, for instance, is reproduced by all these chips here. So I have been working on making a repro of this one as well, and well, this is the first prototype PCB I've got, so I need to test that first and see that everything works fine. But if it does, it means I can repro this guy as well, and then we move on to this guy. So still have quite a bit of work. But this is the first one. I wanted to show you this. So to get it to work, you need obviously pin headers. You need this tiny, and they're tiny. So tiny the camera can't even just pick them up, but caps, although you know it works without, and you can, if you're not sure, you can omit them, because well, the board comes with a cap anyway, a filter cap here, just to keep the voltages. So this entire thing has a cap. It's just it's probably good practice to provide individual cap for individual chips, but because there's so many caps everywhere, you can probably do without it, is my guess. Also, I would recommend using HC and not LS, so 74HC, HC166, because these operate with a better voltage thresholds. So even if it drops a bit, it won't matter to the chip. So I recommend these. These are SMDs, whatever, SUP or 14, and that you need. I'll provide, if you need one of these. Same thing again. We'll do the same thing. I'll just provide you with the just the bare PCB. You'll have to do the soldering yourself. There's a couple of reasons. One is there's already KNA6034201 offering this chip, and he provides them all soldered and all ready to drop in. And I don't want to take off his business and be a competitor to what he does, because he's been great to the community in providing great information. So what I will offer is just the bare PCB. The other reason is I just don't have time to solder stuff for people. I want to make these videos and just do stuff for myself, and maybe produce some of these for the community, but soldering stuff and taking orders and that kind of stuff is just not something I have time for at the moment anyway. So it'll be the bare PCB. So what we might do is I can send you a couple again, you know, for a $5 or one or two. I'll see. I'll devise a proper plan by the time you see this video, and make sure, you know, factor in cost and time it took to make all that kind of stuff. It won't be expensive, I can guarantee that, but yeah, it'll probably be again a PCB for $5 or something like that. And also if you support the channel on Patreon, which I can't recommend enough, because it pays for all of this. I will send you a couple of these as well a month if you need them. So there you go, folks. This is the KNA603, I can't read, 4201 repro. It works. I am so delighted. This is the second time I do something like that works, and I tell you what, it's I feel proud. It's a proud moment for me. But anyway, there you go. This is the KNA repro for Kung Fu Master. It works for the IREM R-Type as well. It's used on R-Type, and let me know if you want them, folks. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.